Greetings, friend. Timberlake here. This is the Classic Sudoku created by Kumaresan for Unshackling Sudokus and Puzzles in a video called How to Spot the Y-Wing Technique in Classic Sudoku, posted December 1st, 2020. Kishore from Unshackling Sudoku solved this puzzle. I will analyze that solve, plus add 2 pause the video and 1 what if moments. Check the link below if you want to solve the puzzle first and or watch the original video. And with that, it's solving time. It's a neat looking grid to start with. And like most puzzles, Kishore starts with simple cross-hatching and Snyder notation. That notation being that technique where you mark in candidates that are restricted to 2 locations in a block. And so first, he notices the 3s in rows 1 and 3, puts 2 3s there. And then continues on with the 3s, coming down columns 1 and 3 to 2 spots there. Then he finds a 2 that he can solve by looking at column 5 and rows 7 and 9. So there's a hidden single 2. And then he starts marking some 2s. Coming up the columns, there's 2 2s there. And then he comes over and looks at the 5s. You got 2 5s in rows 8 and 9 and a 5 coming down column 3. So he'll solve that 5 hidden single. And then he marks some 5s up here in block 3. So he kind of works his way up to the 5s, cuts across, sees column 9 and row 3. All this is pretty standard stuff. Then he happens to find, looks at these 4s and sees he can solve for a 4 right there in block 2 because you got this 4 coming up column 4. Then he marks some 4s in rows 8 and 9 because of the 2 4s now in columns 4 and 6. And then he makes another mark with the 4s right here. And because you have the 4 here in column 4 and column 6, the 4s are now limited to these 2 spots in block 9 and also row 7. So these are actually a claiming pair. And at this point, Kishore shifts to writing the candidates. And it seems kind of early. I think maybe he had solved this before because of the way the rest of the video goes. But I'm going to tell you right now that this is going to bring us up to a first pause the video moment. Okay, pause the video and see if you can solve a naked single in this diagram. Well, I'll give you a few seconds. And I'll give you a hint, it's a 1. Okay, congratulations if you found it. You are an expert at finding naked singles, or maybe you just watched my all the ways to solve a single Sudoku and worked your way through it. For those who just want to enjoy the show, you can solve row 3, column 8 for a 1 right here. And you can see there's a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 all playing here. That is a naked single. And then from solving this one right here, you'll see the ones in rows 3 and 2. And column 2, you can actually solve this for a 1. And then if you worked your way down for naked hidden singles, if you come to this spot right here, you'll notice that you have this 4, 8, 6, and 9, and 1, 5, 2, 3. You can actually solve this for a 4, because the 4 is not there, but every other cell is. And then you could come down and solve this for an 8. And so you could have made all these solves for naked singles prior to starting to mark all the candidates. So let's go back to the original solve. Okay, so Kishore didn't find that naked single right away. Instead, he says, I'm going to start looking for restrictions and shift to writing candidates. So he's deviating from Snyder at this point. And the first thing he puts in is he kind of notices there's a lot of restrictions here in block 7. So he puts the 4 8 right there. And then row 8, column 1, he puts in a 4 7 8. He looks down row 9, column 2, and puts in a 6 and a 7. And at that point, he doesn't want to put in, there's 4 candidates here, he doesn't want to put that in, that's not restrictive enough. But then he comes around and starts looking, and he actually finds that naked single up here in row 3, column 8, through the scanning. From there, he looks at row 1, column 8, kind of stays up here in block 3, and notices that's a 2 5. anytime you put in BVCs, you know there's going to be some restrictions later that will help you solve the puzzle. And he kind of finishes up here in block 3, putting in 269 and then another 269. And then the last cell in block 3 is a 569. Okay, works his way over row 3, and he kind of notices this is a naked triple of 689. So he puts in the available candidates there. That can be a 6 or an 8 because of the 9 right there. This can be a 6 or a 9 because of the 8, and then this is a 6, 8, 9. From there, he looks up and notices there's kind of restrictions here and coming across, and that there's only 2 values right here for 6, 9. So this actually was a 6, 9 hidden pair, and he happened to find that, which means now we can eliminate the 6 from right here. So after finding that 6, 9, he solves for an 8, and he's able to move across, and since he had 2 8s down here in block 7, he can solve that other cell for an 8. So remember how I solved that 8 and then the 4, so he kind of solved the 8 from there because of all the restrictions. Keeps himself down here and decides now to finish out block 7, puts a 4, 6, 7. Okay, after doing the 4, 6, 7, he does finally notice this hidden single 1 up here in row 1, column 3, because you can see column 8 moving up with rows 2 and 3. After that 1, he marks in naked pair 2, 7. He does actually mark in the 2, 7 right there, but I'm going to hold off on that for just a sec, and I'll come back to it. Focuses on the 4s again and realizes that he can solve for a 4 right here because he sees this 4 coming across and notices that there's only one place left for 4 in column 3. So he solves that for a 4. Then he marks the 6 and 9 to finish off column 3. And he's kind of working through the most restrictive houses, so rows, columns, blocks that have the most cells filled in. After solving that 4, he works his way across. He sees in rows 4 and 6 that there's only 2 spots left here in row 5 for 4s. And then he goes back to, okay, I'm going to find more restrictions. So in this case, he looks now in this column 7 and row 8 and puts a 3, 9 there, and then finishes in column 8, or excuse me, row 8, putting a 7, 9 across. After putting the 7, 9, he realizes you have the 8s here in column 7 and 8, and the 8 coming across row 8, so he's able to solve for an 8 right there in row 7, column 9, which allows him to solve for a 4 right next to it, and then come up to row 5 and solve that for a 4. And then now he shifts his focus to column 9 and looks at row 4, column 9, and fills in a 1, 2, 7. Then he decides to head on down to row 7. See, those are only 2 spots left. I'm missing a 1 and a 7. I see the 1 right here. So in column 6, so I can solve this for a 1. He can solve that for a 7. Pretty common stuff there. Then he continues in block 8, and he finishes a 3, 8, 9. He looks, he's like, I don't want to fill these 2 middle cells out. 3, 4, 8, 4 cells or 4 candidates is too many to fill out. And I've seen this with cracking the cryptic. Your focus is really on getting the buy value cells. You might add 3s to kind of add for a triple, because your goal really is efficiency. You're just trying to have visual aids help solve. You're not really going for comprehensiveness. You're not going to fill out the entire grid because it's just a waste of time if you do it that way. You need to be looking for more solve paths to kind of cut down on the notation. He does finish, though, the 3, 8, 9 here in row 9, column 6. And then he notices that he can solve for a 1 right here because of the 1 in column 8 and in row 7 and 8, which allows him to finish marking block 9 with this 3, 7, 9 naked triple. And then he cuts across row 8 to finish row 8. And there's another buy value cell, 3, 4 there in row 8, column 5. Makes his way up column 6 because there's 5 cells filled in. And this is normal. You have 5 cells filled in. You kind of look, see what the other 4 are. And so he sees 3, 5, 9, and then up at the top, 5, 8, 9. And he makes a pretty keen remark right here in the video. Kishore says, hey, this is a tight solve path. There's no real breakthrough. So you probably notice he's kind of searching around trying to figure out a technique, and he can't really do it. And a tight solve path means that the solver has his intended solve path that kind of leads everybody to one particular technique or one particular cell to do the solving. And in this particular puzzle is no exception. It does lead down to one particular solving technique. And then Kishore works his way over to block 6. Again, he's looking, there's 5 cells filled in. Does the 2, 3, 5 right there. And he's really kind of searching. He hasn't really found something that he can pounce upon yet. And then he marks in a 1 and a 5. And these are really corner spots. They're not meant to be there can be more than 1 to 5, but he does it as a notation going, the 1s have to be in column 1 here in block 4, and the 5s also have to be in column 1 in block 4. And what that allows them to do is focus on row 4, column 2, and go, okay, well, row 4, column 2 has got to be just a 2 or a 3, and then row 4, column 7 is just a 3 or 5. So BVCs, which is helpful. He now starts working down column 7 and puts a 3, 5, 6 in row 6, column 7. And then notices, hey, the 6 is coming up column 8, and you have a 6 cutting across row 4. It restricts the 6s here and makes them a pointing pair in block 6. So the 6s are restricted to row 6 in block 6, which means this can no longer be a 6. So he's able to solve that for a 9, which affects the rest of column 3. So you can solve that for 6, that for 9, and that for a 6. So he made a lot of deductions right there, which is helpful. And that kind of propelled him a little bit further. After that, he makes a mark, row 5, column 2 to kind of finish out. He's now looking up column 2. And then now I'm going to fill in this 2 and 7 because I want to kind of guide your eyes to what the next solve is, because this is the key point of the whole puzzle. And so now we're going to get to our second pause the video moment. Pause the video and see if you can find the advanced technique that Kishore points out in his original video while I give you a few seconds. And I'll give you a hint. It's in the name of the video that this solve is based on. Okay, congratulations if you spot it, or maybe if you watched the video and you already knew, great. For those of you who just want to enjoy the show, it is a Y-wing, or I call it an XY wing. It's the same thing. And it has to do with the candidates 2, 7, and 9. And so I'll show you this 2, 7 and this 7, 9 are the pinchers, and then the 2, 9 right here is the pivot point. What Kishore calls it is he calls this the hinge and these the wings, and he calls it a Y-wing. I call this the pivot and the pinchers, and an XY wing, same technique, and those terms can be used either way. I just wanted to point that out, the same terminology. So what does this mean? It means that if this is a 2, that has to be a 7. If this is a 9, that has to be a 7. Either way, a 7 is in one of these orange cells, which means this can't be a 7. So you can end up solving that cell for a 4. So that is the key point. You got to get through that. So let's take it back a bit. What if he didn't find that Y-wing, as he called it, or the XY wing? Is there any other way to get through this puzzle? And so that's going to bring us up to our first what if moment. What if Kishore didn't solve the XY wing? All right, so the answer is you can still solve using an advanced technique here, but it's going to need to be an XY chain, which is actually a little more complicated in an XY wing, because XY wing is like the simplest form of an XY chain. It's just 3 cells involved, all bi-value cells. But that's the only way to make it through. There's no other technique you're going to be able to use at this point to make any more progress in the puzzle. You have to get past that. And so there's actually 2 different ones I'm going to show you that'll make the eliminations you want. The first one starts right up here in row 1, column 2. And Kishore had put enough bi-value cells down that you can follow the path here. You don't have to show all the candidates. And I've done a tutorial on XY chains, and then I put a link right here, and you can go check that out if you're not really that familiar with it. But the idea is you have these strong links within the cells and weak links between the cells. And as long as you start and end with the same candidate, you can eliminate that candidate from any cell that sees both the start and end point of the XY chain. And so what I'll tell you here is you go 7 to the 2, 2 to the 5, 5 to the 9, 9 to the 3, 3 to the 4, 4 to the 7, means that either 7's right here or 7's right there. And so if this is not a 7, that's a 7. Any cell you see that sees both of these, you can eliminate 7. So you can eliminate a 7 from right there and right there. And so you could solve this for a 6, solve that for a 2. You actually end up solving that again for a 7. And then you can solve this for a 4 and a 3 and a 9 and a 7. And you see the puzzle, really starts to fall apart, right? So let's go back to this, and I'll show you another XY chain. And we can start right here with this cell. And you go 2 to the 7, 7 to the 4, 4 to the 3, 3 to the 9, 9 to the 5, 5 to the 2. And so with the 2s, you can go to either this cell is a 2. If that's not a 2, this is a 2. And either way, you can eliminate the 2 for any cell that sees both of them. So you can eliminate those 2s. So you can solve this for 7, that's for 2, that's for 9, 5, 2. And you can continue on the puzzle that way. So the thing with XY chains, like a full chain like that, it's a little more complicated than just the XY wing. Normally you want to look for the easier technique first and solve going that way versus looking for the hard one, because it takes a little bit longer to find like this more elaborate XY chain that contains more bi-value cells. Let's go back to the original solve. Okay, we're back to the original solve, and by doing that Y-wing, he got the 4 in row 8, column 1. Then he was able to solve across row 8, get the 3, the 9, and that 7. After that, he got the 3, and then he says, this Sudoku is looking like it's going to implode, because he's starting to notice there's a bunch of solving that he can do right away. He works his way up and sees the 7s here in columns 7 and 9, so he's able to solve a 7 right there. After that 7, he's able to solve for, he comes back down and solves for the 4 in row 9. At that point, he notices he has these naked pairs down here in row 9, and then he has this other naked pair, 6, 7 here in block 7. He's able to come up. See, there's only 1 3 left up here in block 2, so he solves that for a 3. He puts a 2, 9 in row 5, column 4, and he starts kind of filling out column 4 there, and then a 2, 7, 8, and focuses over row 6, column 9. You figure, oh, I'm gonna, take care of the restrictions here. Puts that in. And at this point he says, oh, I think there's still some fight in the Sudoku. But then Kishore notices how this 6 right here in row 2, column 3 affected this cell right there, and saw that now that has to be a 5. And so it was at this point, with 31 cells remaining, that Kishore cracks the puzzle. It's all naked and hidden singles from here. And you can follow along if you want as I go through the remaining cells. So I learned a lot going through this. I really enjoy Unshackling Sudoku and puzzles. I like following Ashish in the solves. I like following Kishore. Things I notice here, one of the differences between the way they solve and Cracking the Cryptic is they tend to put more candidates in the cells, where Cracking the Cryptic tries to get away from putting too many candidates in to try to be more efficient. Other thing I noticed is Kishore was ready to talk about the Y-wing right when he told people to look for it, which makes me think he might have solved it before and kind of knew where the Y-wing was. I'd mentioned that earlier. And that's all good. Sometimes I solve a puzzle ahead of time because I want to show something really cool, and so I'll redo the solve to show people the path to get there. If you tried the puzzle, let me know how that went, or any of the comments you may have. And while you're at it, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to Smart Hobbies so you don't miss any new content. I post videos every Friday and Sunday. If you can't wait that long, check out some of these puzzles from my February month of Sudoku that you may have missed. Thank you so much for watching.